saluto a tutti.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the post-match call-in show, all right? And I do have somebody ready to get going immediately here. Let me just tie him in. And it is Reno. Reno is here. How are you doing, my friend?
Not bad. How are you?
Oh, it'd be better if it was 3 points, but we're going to talk about that right now, all right? So we got some
I know.
things in the chat are going on and some questions being asked, and obviously of the performance in general. We are going to tackle it. I want to remind everybody that this is all built around getting you guys as involved as possible in the AJC community. All right, so I'm going to drop the number right there. This is where you get me on WhatsApp. Just send me a text if you want to call in, or if you want the link to join us on video, okay? But we're going to just talk about the thoughts in this one coming to it. We get comments all here about, Apex saying, I'm not asking for all-out free attacking football, but fuck, can we get some offensive patterns of play going on between the lads? We played for a draw, coming in from Jan van Engelen. Tony Trim saying, good thing I got my hair cut and missed that second half. Didn't miss anything. You didn't miss, the second half was abysmal. Vincenzo Messina just flat out, we fucking stink. Okay, well, we're going to take a look at it all right now, all right? And for me, I've seen comments already coming into me on text messages that this team has given up or whatnot. I don't think they're giving up. I think it's the opposite. I think if you think of Allegri and how he was at the best of times throughout this season, even when we were winning and getting the results, ever since this 7 points out of 9 games before the win against Fiorentina, we all wanted and said, you gotta change things. You got to attack this. You have to get after it. I think what we're seeing is like clearly the opposite. He's almost gone even more safe to just make sure that we get 1 point at a time or anything, just to make sure that we get that Champions League qualification. Do you feel it's arguably even more safe now than it was before, Reno? Chat, what do you guys think? Do you think it's even more safe right now? What do you think?
What do you mean safe? Like that
How
we're
we
gonna see
play,
top
like
four,
Max is
or
being even safer now than he was before during the run to make sure that we get every single point we can.
I don't know if he's safer now. Even the players like today, they were terrible too, like Locatelli and company. But I can't say he's safer. It's even true. The players, they don't seem happy to play with him. Like even kids. I don't know if you noticed, Alberto. He seemed really mad. I know people say you should not act like that, but I don't know. Like today was bad.
It's safe, man. Our game is safe. You want to talk about the players? Locatelli today had a clear shot looking up the field. Chiesa made a run from the left to the right. He didn't even think for a second of passing that ball over the top. That is safe. This team is even more safe than it was before or during that 7 points out of 9 games run. This is going to be a brutal finish to the season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We're not going to get them going after games attacking. We're going to get them being even more safer than we were before. I can already see it. It's going to be a game management thing where we're just going to try to clamp down
calma.
on everything.
I get your point.
To just get a point here, a point there, just to cross that finish line. I think it's going to be a brutal finish. I hope I'm wrong.
I know.
But I don't see anything, because let's look at this game. This to me was the perfect opportunity, and I can't wait to hear from if everybody agrees with me. You guys seem to in the live watch along, but this would have been the game to play Chiesa and Yildiz together.
Bravo. That's what I said too. But when we're going to see that? Never.
Because, and this is why I'm talking about being safe.
Yeah.
Because if
I got
you
your
wanted
point.
to get Yildiz onto that pitch, you would have had to make a switch and alter your midfield. You would have had to alter either taking one of your midfielders out directly, or you'd have to try and find a Kostic to change and move Cambiaso over or whatnot. McKennie, use him as an outside, which is probably what I would have done and gone 3-4-2-1 because you needed a push, an offensive push. We finished the game with 8 total attempts. For me, there was no push. There was no push to get after it and really win that game. There wasn't.
Well, those 3 shot miss from Vlahovic
Yeah,
could be
but
easily two.
that doesn't mean that you shut it down for the rest of the game and you don't push to get a goal and
No.
win it.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
1 point is 1 point, but 3 points is better when you're trying to establish yourself and secure that spot. I know that Italy's sitting good in terms of getting a 5th Champions League spot or whatnot, but we can't think like that,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That's what I say.
Ultimately, I feel like it's more of a signal for me of just I'm losing any kind of willingness to continue, you know? But the
Yeah.
players, I don't think the players have given up. I don't think the players have given up. Do you think the players have
I don't know.
given
It's a
up?
5th. Well, some of them, like, I see kids are not happy.
You think he's given up though?
Maybe.
Today he didn't give up. He was our best player today.
No, true, but I don't see him happy. When he got out, he wasn't happy. So
Yeah,
I know they're
but
trying their best to.
there's being happy or unhappy, but is he quitting? Is he giving up? I don't think today's performance was any sign whatsoever that he's given up. I don't think the players have given up. I think there is a significant lack of creation and confidence out of this midfield that is
Yeah,
killing this team. It's killing this team.
the midfield is brutal.
Yeah.
We need some good players coming along.
If we
Like,
talk about the start of
I
this
hope
game,
Luis Alberto.
yeah, we talked a lot about that in the previous show, but let's look at the players we currently have and finishing the season and moving forward. Rabiot was good from the start of the game in a physical aspect, winning 1v1s and battles. But outside of that, he wasn't doing anything in terms of the offense outside of just pressure. But the aggression, we had no aggression in the second half, very little. And our best moments in the first half came from that. We didn't continue it. I'm not happy with this at all, man. Like,
No, I'm not happy too.
it's brutal. But
I'm
these
with you all
players,
the way.
Alcaraz, 3 minutes left in the game. You know, if you're needing help in creation, you know, you've got to do something to turn the tide. But I believe he was afraid in this game to change the balance in the middle of the pitch and give Torino more room. I think we played scared. Do you guys agree with that assessment, or was it not scared? It was just a classic tight Derby della Mola. For me, we look scared to try and push us in an advantageous position and put teams over. Nobody fears us anymore from... No, absolutely not. And why would you? We play slow as hell. You have midfielders that don't want to thread the needle. I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's not right, but I think our biggest issues are the middle of the field. And if we get another coach in, if they make a change, that still has to be fixed.
Yes. Like I always say, with the coach change, even if we change coach, we need some players, or else it's not gonna change the system. Get rid of
Who
Rabiot, Locatelli. And get some. Start with the midfield, and then we can look at something else. 'Cause
I
it's
would
been
not get
years.
rid of Locatelli right now. I think it's 1 year too early. Next year is the season I would make that decision, not this year.
Okay.
He's still crucial in a defensive point of view, and I don't think there's something with him it's not the same guy. I talked a lot about it this morning on the preview show. For those of you who didn't make it to the preview show, I said I don't believe Locatelli is the main man in a midfield. But I think if you find the right partnerships for him, that's when he thrives. Do you agree with that? That he just needs better partnership in the middle for him to thrive?
I don't know. I haven't been happy with him, even with the friendlies. Not maybe we'll see at the national team, but recently, maybe the last 2 months, he's been pretty bad. I
But
don't know.
why the difference? Why the difference from the guy that we got to Sassuolo to here? For
I
me,
have no
for
idea.
me at Sassuolo, it was more of a system. He didn't have to be the main guy because they could work through the other pivot. They could work through the advanced midfielder option. He wasn't pivotal or crucial by any means. People act like he was, but he was putting up minimal numbers for a midfielder. It just looked better because of that system. He is not a main man. He's not a main man midfielder. He isn't. And to be honest, right now in this team, currently, we don't have a main man in the midfield. We don't.
We don't have a leader.
You don't have a main man in the middle of the pitch. For me,
I'm the main man.
not even at your house, according to your wife. But
That's a joke.
uh, we need a main man in the middle of the park, man.
We
And I
do.
think your forwards will all feed off that. And they'll build off that. But for me, I think we need it. I think we need it. Everybody, if you want to get involved, call in, whatnot. Here's me on WhatsApp. Send me some messages. Let's go.
Yeah, I
join me
need
in Reno.
somebody. Tony Trimboli, we need you here. What's going on?
Tony
So let
Trim with
me
the
be
fresh
here.
haircut should be jumping in on this thing, all right? But let's
Yeah.
see what these things kind of go. Alex Juve agrees, says Luca needs support and a system. He is not a Pirlo. He is not a Pjanic. Alex P says, for me, just to deal with it, he sucks. Okay, thank
Okay.
you. 3 years is too little to learn a different role. And I've said the same thing. For me, it's not a role thing. I just think he is not a main man. I don't think he is a main man to get into be the heart of a midfield. It's clearly there's something going on where he is just not the same guy, like even to the point of just attempting passes. I will say just go back and watch some footage when he first came to Juventus because he was taking those shots. He was trying long balls and he was trying to spray and make these game-breaking passes. He is not even trying it. Not even trying it, okay? But I think there's too much emphasis on him and he doesn't have the right partnerships. He needs to split the load, so to speak, with other guys like he did in the Euros when everybody wants to talk about that tournament. Well, when you're sharing a midfield with Verratti, with Jorginho, who have no problem getting the ball and spreading it out, and he can kind of move into pockets and move around, it's a lot differently. But right now, I don't know. We got a big one coming here from Trey G. I'm done with Duchan. I'm sorry he gets so many damn passes. Wow. I thought he was
Wow.
involved in a big battle with Buongiorno today. That finish, though, he has to finish the first one. 100% has to be a goal. Has to be a goal.
That's what
The
I said. He
second
missed
one,
2 shots, man.
yeah.
Ah.
But are you done with Duchan, though? I'm not done with Duchan.
No, I'm not done. We have to
He's
see next season.
he's shown too much in 2024 in the right positive direction. But his misses have been big and highlighted this season. But I feel like, and I got to look at the numbers, and I probably will going into tomorrow's post-match show, but I feel like he's right there for misses with some other big guys around football. I feel like it's just highlighted because of our team and our overall lack of creation, whatever. So it's highlighted by a massive amount. It's got this huge magnifying glass on it because today we only got 8 total attempts. So yeah, when you miss a
Yeah.
chance like that, a tap in, hits the post, you're going to be crucified. And Vlahovic is going to take a lot of heat for not scoring that. Could you
Exactly.
imagine how much more we would have clamped down if he scored that goal that early in this game? Mamma mia. We would have been
Mamma mia, exactly. I'll be like, oh,
Vlahovic would have been
they.
center back if we scored that early, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one, you guys. Right now, a lot of the discussion around many Juventini is that a lot feel we can't even properly judge or gauge these players based on the play that we're getting, but I feel like you can properly assess quite a few guys. Reno, if I said you have to clean house by 4 players, who are the first 4 coming to your head to get rid of? Live chat, first 4 players to clean house with if we're going to look at making some shifts.
Alexandro. Uh, who else I had in mind that has to go? I said Locatelli. You said the keeper, but so one, two. Who else in my head? Danilo, and I had so many in my head now. I forgot. Rabiot.
Yeah, for me, Danilo and Locatelli shouldn't be on that list. Too much work to give yourself in the summer. Not
I
yet.
know,
Not yet. Too much
but
work to do. Too much work
Rabiot.
to do. Um, yeah, you would be left with too shy there. I think we got to go like this. I'm not even going to count Sandro because he's going to go anyways. It's time to go. So I'm not even going to count him on the list, but obviously he's got to go. For me, I wouldn't renew Rabiot. I would look to a shift in the midfield. If it's Coop Mainers, it's Coop Mainers, but McKennie, I would keep. I would keep Weston McKennie, and I would let Rabiot walk at the money he wants and for what we get overall. I'd let
Yeah,
him walk. I'd keep Weston. I'm starting to think I would look at a free, like even Jorginho, to be quite honest, and a less
I
expensive
don't know.
midfielder like Samardzic instead of spending 60 on Coop
I
because
know that's too much.
we got to spread the money out. We got to spread the money out. If you can't get Coop Mainers to around 40 million euros, I don't think you can swing it. Maybe 50, but it's still tough. It's still tough. That's a lot of money, and we're going to need help elsewhere. But for me, um, I'd let Caviglia go. I'd probably let Miretti go. Milik, Keane, Gonzo, Milik, Keane,
Gonzo,
Kostic. So
Kostic.
Milik, Keane,
I forgot.
Kostic, and I'd probably say one of Miretti, Caviglia. I'd like to see Miretti on loan, but this is where it gets interesting. What are you going to have for money coming in from those guys? Not much. So you got to
Nothing.
make a big sale if you're Juventus. I presented an opportunity, and that's why I'm starting to talk about guys like Jorginho, guys like Luis Alberto if something happens there, because you're not going to get a Mercado. If you spend 60 on one guy, guess what? You're not just selling Sule to strengthen the rest of the team. Now you're looking at selling Bremer as well, or Federico Chiesa as well. Too much work. So a guy like Jorginho on a 2-year deal, I would probably start looking at it. Luis Alberto, if he's available for 10, 15 million euros
Yeah,
because of what's going on, I would look at that as well. And I would shift our focus. We got to look at strengthening the team overall. I painted a really interesting
we have
picture
to.
today on the preview show. You guys need to check that out if you haven't. But we'll get into it. We've got Omi coming in, sending a message. I'm not sure if he wants to join in on the call. Let me just send you one right now. Do you want in?
Yeah, Trimble said he can't come. What a guy.
Trimbley, that's okay.
But
Still looking after the hair. We do have a question here in the chat. You guys, if you have Storm the Barn, fire away too. But if you want to call in, fire up. Let's go. I want to hear where you guys are all at. So, Jan Van Engelen, question, serious question. Berto, do you think we need to keep Danilo? Because I say throw him out ASAP. I do think we need to keep him. I think you're giving yourself too much work if you get rid of Danilo as well. We have other guys to kind of move right now. The market's not going to be crazy for Danilo. He is versatile because he can play like three positions. Don't give yourself any more work than you have to. And in a team that has very few leaders, even if he's a bit of a leader, you got to keep him around because you're not bringing in serious leadership at any point in time. They're going to have to go into it. Our leadership right now as it stands is Szczesny, Danilo, Rabiot. Like, that's soft. And Rabiot's probably not going to stay around Juventus beyond this season. I would not move him on. All right? I would not move him on. No. Alex Juve. Luis Alberto, Jorginho, Locatelli. That's a formidable midfield. Whether we don't like the age of guys or not, you have to come to terms with the fact that you need some experience, and experience is proven to do well in the league. It's all about balancing it. But to say no to Luis Alberto because he's 31 years old, or even a 2-year on Jorginho, where are you going to find a regista like Jorginho right now? If you're telling me Coop Mainers is going to come in and be a regista, no.
But the thing is, with Luis Alberto and Jorginho, most Juventus will not want Jorginho because what he did at the national team. But with Luis Alberto, I don't mind him, but we got to be careful if he doesn't get injured, because recently all these players that came with experience, like Di Maria and company, they get injured. So I'm only hoping that he'll be healthy and he'll do good. So
You got
that's
to
my
be
concern.
realistic. You're going to need free agents.
Yeah, but I hope they do good. Like Cruz will
people
be a good option, but
people that are
not
throwing
happening.
out names of all these players we want to get, that's great. We can want all these guys. A zero mercado is what we need. You're not going to
At
do
this
that
moment.
without free agents. It's not going to happen, everybody. It is not going to happen. There is list out there of free agents. Jorginho, Luis Alberto. I don't think Luis Alberto will be
Casemiro.
free. Lotito's not going to completely release him, but it would be a minimal fee. Luis Alberto has just shot Lotito right in the ass with that one yesterday when he said that. Fantastic. Muller, Casemiro. There's options there. Juve's going to have to work the free agency. We have to. We have to. There's no questions about it. We have some Storm the Barn questions, Reno. Let's take a look at the first one that's come in here. So this
Okay.
one comes in to us from Swarit, and it is Max deliberately sabotaging Juventus perfectly knowing that his time is up? I don't think so. Do you think he's purposely setting us up for failure here down the end of the season?
I give a 50% because after last week's comments, which we have to see what he's going to say at the conference, maybe, because he's not happy about the situation himself. So we'll see. I could be wrong. Not because I don't
There
like
is
Allegri, guys.
no chance he's purposely sabotaging Juventus. I fail to believe that. And honestly, that would be ridiculous. He's not purposely sabotaging anything. I laid it out for you guys. He's being even tighter now and safer because we have to cross the finish line in the only way that gives him an opportunity to have any type of opportunity to fight and say that he somewhat succeeded this season, and that is Champions League qualification. So I don't think what we're seeing is him sabotaging. This is him being Allegri and being very pragmatic and very cautious to do whatever we can to get a point. He's not going to tip the scale and go offensively. Based on our track record in finishing this season, if he didn't do it through that brutal run of 7 points in 9 games, I don't think you're going to see Yildiz and Chiesa share the pitch. I don't think you're going to see us push more to a more offensive setup or something like that. It's not going to happen. If you didn't see it through then, we're not going to see it now. And I don't think it's because
He's
he's
too hard-headed.
sabotaging us. It's because this is what he believes is the way to finish it out. Just manage the points remaining. That's it. It's not sabotage, everybody.
No, but he's hard-headed. He won't change. He's stuck with that old school way, and that's it. We're not going to see a change from now then.
Yeah,
So
but that's not sabotaging. Like,
no,
think
I get
think
your
about what
point.
people are saying. Sabotaging the club on purpose?
A lot of people say that. A lot of
Oh,
even on my end.
it's crazy to think that. This guy's reputation has also been thrown in the mud and everything, and people think he's gonna sabotage. This guy also could have walked away last season. If he had an opportunity to sabotage Juventus, it would have been last season when he was left alone in the trenches to deal with the scandal bullshit day in and day out. That would have been the time to say, screw you guys, I'm done, I'm going to sabotage this team. No, he's not sabotaging
He's
anything.
just stubborn,
These are his
like a paisan.
beliefs. These are
Yeah.
his beliefs. It's nothing to do with sabotage. What are
Well, like
some
one of oh
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Not to finish, like one of our paisanos says, he's a hard-headed Livornese, testaduro Livornese. So
I don't care
he can't
what he
change.
is. To sabotage the team
No,
you're
some of the
currently
shit.
coaching is a tall ask and statement. No chance.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity to stick it to this team if he really wanted to, and he hasn't. I don't see sabotage in it. Guys, we're talking as if we're surprised to see Max Allegri pragmatic in games. We've seen Max pragmatic his entire career. His whole game plan is based around being pragmatic. Just because a season's not going the way we want, we can't say he's sabotaging. Was he sabotaging us in 2018, 2019? No. He was just playing the game out the way he believes. It just looks a hell of a lot different when you have guys that are ballers, that trust themselves, that have confidence and swagger, and you have a group like this, which is really young, and your experienced guys don't seem to have much faith or confidence in their own abilities. So much so to not even try a pass, breaking lines, or over the top. I don't think it's sabotage. What
No,
are
I
some
agree
of the
with you.
good options available for right back, left back next season, free or not? Guys, we haven't been throwing out much for right back and left backs, okay? There's talks of Barbieri coming back, okay? He's been on loan with Pisa. That's where it's at right now. You're not getting much for options out there. I wouldn't even know. I'd have to look at situations around these clubs for who's going to be available and everything. But I'm not hearing a lot for fullbacks. And when we're looking at it, what are we going to have? We're going to have Cambiaso. We're going to have Danilo. That's why I wouldn't get rid of Danilo. He could play both sides like Cambiaso can play both sides. We don't want Danilo on the left. You're going to have who? Weah's not a out and out right back. He's played there, but he's not going to be. We're going to need some help there. And yeah, Jallo. The talks are of him going on loan. We just picked him up. I don't know, man. I don't know. But we do have somebody happy to call in. It's Jat. And let's see what he
Okay.
says. But for fullbacks, I don't know. I don't know. We will see. And I got some more messages coming in. Hang on. We're going to get Jat on the line here, Reno.
Okay.
Jat. Jat, can you hear me?
Alberto. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, my friend. Thank you. First of all, I got to thank you for all the support that you've always shown the AJC.
No, thank you from me, guys. Honestly, you make it so easy to consume all the content, what's going on around Juventus. And I know it's no small task. So thanks to the whole team for curating all the content daily for me. It's, for being time poor, it's huge. we'll really appreciate that. So thank you.
Much appreciated, my friend. And your thoughts kind of on the game, and you wanted to talk about the fullbacks?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, I was having to look after my two little children, so I think it's about the only go I've missed this season. So sadly, I don't have too much comment there, but I think I wanted to come on to a couple of the points that we discussed.
Okay.
Mainly around like Locatelli and the system as well, because I think, the one thing I do really feel for, and I think just from playing the game, it's sometimes you look at it and you see, I think our problems do stem from the fact we sit so deep as a team, and in teams gone by, we could get away with that. And we had obviously the BBC because they were so good defensively. But there's such a big gap for the midfield. And I'm left most weeks feeling pretty sorry for Locatelli because, he's sat so deep on his own and our Mazzala's pushed so wide. There's just a big hole and there's not really anyone who he can play little passes to. I hear you, he's definitely lost confidence not playing the longer passes, but I just do find him incredibly isolated in the middle of the pitch. And I think with a different coach, I think there could be a real player there if we can, like you talk about, Berto, have two, like a dual pivot in there, someone he can actually play with and push balls through the lines with. I think would be a different team.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Jad. I mean, I talked another thing about Locatelli this morning was the last player was Kenan Yildiz on a stream with a streamer there talking about the best technical player, and he named Locatelli. And this is multiple times now, multiple players on our team that are saying coming out of training, like he is the best when it comes to technical. And it's like, it's just not translating in the game. There's something going on. And I just think he can't be like this main man or something. I don't know. I think he needs help, but the partnerships I think are key for him in there. Today we saw a lot of frustrations between him and Rabiot. It's there's something there, man. There's something there that's a little bit more to it. I'm not ready to give up wholeheartedly yet. I think next season is make or break for Locatelli with Juventus. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd love to see him given a run of games with him next to Fagioli because, I think during his time when he was on loan at Cremonese, I think he did really well in that Regista role as well. And I think between them two picking the ball up off our defenders and being able to sort of try and put balls between the lines together, I think it will give us a better base.
Yeah.
I think as you guys, Rabiot and McKennie, I know McKennie's had a good year, but they're both not technicians by any stretch, and I think we just really struggle to turn over the ball, and like you said, I think the ball moves too slowly and they just play the simple options, whereas I think both Locker and Fagioli have got more of an expansive passing range, so I think we can, if we got those two together as a dual pivot, I'd be pretty excited to see what we could do. But again, I think, the other part of the system, which I also see is, I see Dusan just being incredibly isolated as well. I think we saw it last year with, Di Maria was sit so wide and sit so far on the right. It was never close enough. So it was really tough for Dusan, I thought, last year. And I went to the Sevilla away game last year, and it's more evident when you're in the stadium. You just see the distances between the players. It was huge. And sometimes it's the same with Chiesa, who drifts too far out to the left as well. And sometimes Max, I think, likes to play a winger in a number 10 position as opposed to a natural 10 who's going to be a bit closer to Dusan, where you don't have to rely on his hold-up play so much. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's something I've also noticed this season in a lot of games.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, there's this... we did see this team shift for a brief period of time into this like two-man pivot almost with Rabiot and Luca and moving one of those guys up front. It's just that we didn't get enough out of that midfielder advance. The majority of the time it was Miretti, and that's something that I don't really blame Max on. I just think Miretti's game's not translating over with our first team side with the seniors, and I think he needs a loan. I'm open to moving him though in part of a deal. I have opened myself up to losing him if it's going to be the difference in bolstering the squad. There is a question coming in, Jat, from Storm the Barn, and I'm going to pose it to you because we have been talking about Jorginho, and we'll probably sign off with the call in on this one. But the Storm the Barn question, Jad, is if you could get Jorginho, how would you like a midfield of Jorginho, Locatelli, and Fagioli? What are your thoughts on that one, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd be happy with Jorginho. Like you said, I think we've all got to be realistic as Juve fans this year. There's not going to be, huge numbers. That's why I think the Coop minus thing's completely out of our range when you hear the numbers that Atalanta won. But I think having Jorginho in there, you've got someone a bit of experience. And I almost like the fact that you've got three players who can almost interchange. Like you can have, obviously, like Locker and Fajoli potentially as Mazzalas, or you can have, two sitting as a dual pivot, either next to Jorginho, and then maybe Locker pushed further ahead, or Fajoli pushed further ahead, or they can rotate during the game. I think that's something I really sort of don't see in Juventus' game compared to when you watch other teams. Is there's not much rotation of position between players, and I think Jorginho could give us that, like pushing Locatelli a little bit forward, giving him more of a license to roam, or pushing Fajoli a bit further forward. I like it, and I think I've watched a lot of Arsenal's games this season, and he's actually played really well.
Yeah,
he hasn't seemed to age, and Serie A is obviously a lot slower than the Premier League, so I think he could buy himself easily a couple of years in Serie A.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way, and I've opened myself up to it over the past couple of days and said, you know what, maybe I was too quick to throw out the no chance on it. And the more I think about it, I think it opens up possibilities and options for the next manager or even the current manager. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. It sounds like it's going to be a change, but I think it gives us more options, man. But Jad, we are going to sign up there. Thank you so much, brother, again, for coming on. Hopefully one time we could tee you up, get you live on the show with a link. But appreciate all the support, brother. Thank you.
Thanks again, guys.
Betcha. Ciao.
Ciao.
So interesting stuff there, Reno, with Jat.
Wanting to, he said good points.
Opening up to that, and Locatelli is this player that's splitting the fan base right now. And Weston McKennie, we're not omitting Weston McKennie as he comes in here because I've said I want to keep Weston around. Would you sell him, Reno, or would you keep Weston right now? He wants a little bit more money.
I will keep him.
Yeah,
not too much money, but keep him for another year or two.
Do you know
he's been good recently?
Yeah, we've talked about McKennie a lot when it comes to this and him asking for more money. Some fans are rubbed the wrong way by it because they're like, well, you should know our situation, where Juventus stands, and that we're trying to cut that up. But at the same time, he's got to look after himself. He's already $500K less a year than Thiago Giallo, who we just signed, who there's rumors that we're going to loan out. He's making 1.2 million less than Milik. He's making 3 million less than Daniele Rugani. He's making 8 million less than Alexandro. I mean, he's not out of line to ask for a little bit more money.
A little bit high. He's been there for a long time.
And I think with what we're doing in the cleanup and everything, there should be some room there to give him a little bit more of a pay bump. Let's not forget, we bumped the pay a little bit on Gatti. We bumped the pay a little bit on Huijsen and extended. We bumped the pay a little bit on Yildiz. Yildiz is also set to get a deal to 2029. And he's going to get the number 10 and all this and everything. Del Piero just recently said he should be given the number 10. Okay, that's fine. He hasn't really done a whole lot, and he's still
I don't know. It's early.
He's the number one selling jersey
Too early
right now at Juventus. Did you know that? He's the top selling jersey right now. So when that kid gets the number 10, Juve right now, Loiki sono dollar signs, my friend. Okay, when it comes to Yildiz. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
It's all the Chicoria, buddy. It's all the Chicoria. I agree with you.
Yeah. Like your friend Anthony says.
Pump the brakes, but Juve's going to market the hell out of Kenan Yildiz. But for McKennie, he's not out of line to ask for more money. Not in my personal opinion, you guys. I think Weston McKennie, it's fair. He's been one of the top players this season. Will you bring Barnechea back? Interesting. If you have to use Caviglia, you have to use Miretti. I'm not against bringing Barnechea back. I'm not against it. Another option to rotate there as your regista really depends on the rest of the business, how many mids we get in there. I'm not against it. I wouldn't mind it.
Same.
Yeah, or would you rather sell him? They're not talking about a lot of funds there. 10 million, some were saying. I think he's worth more than 10, but he's done well for his accord at Frosinone. But I would be okay with bringing him back, but I'm not saying it's something we need to look at immediately. I think we need to wait to see where the chips fall in the midfield. Not against bringing Barnechea back. For those of you who missed the pregame show, I put together a little scenario for all of you. Yeah, last night I had a little extra time. I said, what the hell? Let's take a look at this, okay? Tell me if you would be happy, Reno, okay? And everybody in the chat, tell me if you would be happy. If you're not happy with it, just put no. If you're happy with it, say, yeah, I would be happy with it, okay? This is where it's at. Outgoing for Juventus, okay? Rabiot, Sandro, Miretti, Caviglia, Kostic, Milik, Sule, Illing Jr. All gone, okay? Sold. Some just seen out contractually. We save 34 million euros in salary annually. I would bring in Luis Alberto, assuming it would be 10 to 50 million. Samardzic, Orsolini, Calafiori, Felipe Anderson. 26 million euros in salary. So you're saving 8 million annually with those guys. Your lineup could potentially look something like Szczesny, Danilo, Bremer, Calafiori, Cambiaso, Samardzic and McKennie, Locatelli, Barnechea, Luis Alberto, Fagioli, Orsolini, Anderson, Vlahovic, and a backup, Chiesa and Yildiz. Young talent that we have retained in these moves, Nonje, Houston, Gonzalez, and Hassa. Do you like it? Or would you be happy with that? Or would you not be happy with how that team looks?
I'll be happy. It was a good choice. Like Orsolini, I like the idea. Calafiori, because we can expect big next year. But that thing you said, perfecto. I like it.
I'm hired. I'm hired.
You're the main man now. You passed me.
let's get those likes up. I love it from Tony Trim there. You know what? Honestly, and Koshik saying it's better than what I can contemplate. I think that's realistic. If we're thinking big and the biggest bang, Samardzic, his value is kind of at a point where I think we have to really look at that, because Samardic's value has kind of taken a hit. Is he doing it on purpose? Is this a Moji-esque move from Juventus? Like all of a sudden he kind of hit this low, makes it a little more affordable for us. Hey, conspiracy theories, put your tinfoil hats on, okay? Who knows? But I would be happy if we brought Samardzic in. Luis Alberto on
Same, I'll be happy too.
Yeah, Luis Alberto or Jorginho on cheap deals, freeze, let's do it. If you want to look at Orsolini or another winger, I think we should have another winger above Anderson. Anderson shouldn't come in as the main guy. We should look there. And that's why I said, if you use a free or a cheap deal like Luis Alberto or Jorginho instead of Coop Mainers, you could spread your money out better. And the rest of the guys that we're moving, Milik, Kostic, make some money here and there on some of these guys. But Sule, you have to sacrifice him. He's the big one. He is like 40 plus million pure capital. Has to be a sacrifice there. I would do that. I'd be happy with that team going into next season across all those competitions.
Let's hope to see something good.
It's kind of just a way I summed it up to try and show that, you have to kind of look at that and be open to some targets that you may not necessarily want to go immediately after. But Jorginho, I'm opening myself up to it, you guys. I really am. Storm the Barn from Forza Juve. If we don't buy Koop Mainers, what do you do with that money? Keep Sule spending on it. Like I said, I would spread it
What
out.
he just said.
A midfielder, a forward, the Calafiore deal, I think we could fund already by the sounds of it, depending on who they take as a counterpart. There were talks Miretti, there were talks Calafiore, or Caviglia, and then a little bit money on top. It's going to be interesting, but we got to kind of maximize. And this is where we're going to find out what we got in Giuntoli, is how he sells and how he manipulates this mercado. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough. Swarit says, Fede as right winger and Yildiz as left winger is the way to go. Thoughts? Yep. I would be down with that. You know what? Chiesa on the right side, Omer said it today on the preview show. He says he wants to go back and put him back on the right side. And he wants to see him over there again instead of the left. I don't get this out of position stuff and whatnot. Today he burned Rodriguez on the right side. Absolutely
he did good
skinned
today.
him when he fed Vlahovic that one on an absolute platter. Chiesa, whether it's the left side or the right side, I feel like he limits himself almost on the left side because everybody knows what he's trying to do on the left side. With the right side, I think there's a little more confusion he can create to his game. But yeah, still you want him shooting and you want him firing, but I think he turns into a better creator on the right side.
That's what I noticed too today.
I think he turns into a better creator on the right side. And I would be fine with Yildiz on the left, Vlahovic middle, Chiesa on the right. No problems with it from me. No arguments.
Because if you remember with Pirlo, he was doing good on the right side.
Yeah, he was playing as a right outside mid. We were like 4-4-2 that season.
Yeah, 4-4-2. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So that's why I said the right side.
Yeah. And he was on the right side. He was doing fantastic. I'd have no problems with it, you guys. I'd have no problems. Look at this. Sorry, time to have 2 Albertos at Juve next season. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bring in Luis Alberto. I would love it. But that player, you know what? He's really caused a stir there. With he's shot Lotito in the hands, and Lotito kind of deserves it, he
does.
They've been playing games for a while. I was surprised to hear Luis Alberto signed an extension in October. It was very strange, but I felt like he did it from a loyalty perspective for Lazio because he's been there since 2016, and I felt like he did it to secure for them that, hey, you can make something off it, whatever, when I leave or whatever. Like, I'm not going to leave you high and dry type thing. But something has happened for him to come out and say flat out, I don't want another dollar. I want to leave. I told the team I want out immediately. Like, something went down. And to me, that makes me happy. So that's my victory of today because Lotito,
well,
I can't stand the guy.
Well, come on. What he said towards Immobile about the messages or people attacking him, like Lotito has been really bad with the players recently. Like the guy only cares about himself. He doesn't care about nothing.
Lotito's just bad in general, man. He's a pain in the ass for any teams in Italy trying to deal with. Like, is he gonna release Luis Alberto? Absolutely
Un disgraziato.
not. Absolutely not. But will he sell for cheap, or will he let him rot on the bench and say, oh, you can sit there? Omer doesn't think so, but it'll be interesting to see how he plays this one out. I hope Juve is on high alert, though, because if Luis Alberto is an option, jump on it, everybody. Jump on that move. For us and the table, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have a fear that we're going to miss Champions League. I still feel we'll get into the Champions League qualification.
Well, we're going to have the fifth.
If you want to talk about the Coppa Italia, let's assume this is all we're going to see from here on out. On a scale of 1 to 10, do you think Juve is going to win the Coppa Italia this year? Everybody in the live chat, Reno?
I don't know. I say 50, 60%. I'm still kind of scared.
So
I
you're
would love
about a
them to.
60-40 split. Okay.
Yeah, because was like I would love them to see the win, even though it's a Copa del Nono the way I see it. It's always nice to win a cup, but I don't know because every time I say they're gonna win that, then they lose. So I keep my mouth shut to keep it calma, and hopefully for a
I
win.
personally I think we will win it even if we play the way we have been now and everything. We have a good foot into the final with the 2-goal lead on Lazio heading into the second leg. Obviously, we got to be aware and weary when we play them in Rome for the return match. But the final, if it's Atalanta, that's going to be dicey. If Fiorentina can hang on and make it in, then I
Yeah,
feel really confident. I'll feel more confident against Fiorentina than I would Atalanta in the one-off because Atalanta gives us fits and we look even more miserable against Atalanta. And again, what do they have in common when we look our worst? They play 3-5-2 just like us, and we lose the flank play and it becomes a mess. And our issues in the midfield, they blow up in when we play teams at 3-5-2.
Akasa.
But I would say I'm about 7 out of 10 confident level right now that this team can win the Coppa Italia. Would the Coppa Italia finish Champions League qual change anything for me? Overall, no, because I haven't liked the general direction of this team and where it's heading and whatnot. And I personally believe Giuntoli has a different vision with everything Juventus and how he sees the team playing, what he believes in terms of the players. I think he's got a mind to the value of the players and how what we get on the pitch affects that and ultimately affects him and his job and what he can do. I'm very curious to see, but I think right now Giuntoli's vision is the biggest question mark around Juventus. What does he see and what does he want to go forward with? Everybody, all we can do is hurry up and wait. Brandon says yes, he believes in the Coppa Italia because of the teams remaining. Kaushik agreeing with me hard if Atalanta are in the final. Swarit, we will reach the final, that's for sure. Roche coming in saying today was not on Allegri. What is Allegri supposed to do to teach Vlahovic how to hit the back of the net? Ridiculous today is on Vlahovic. Yeah, I mean, he does need to score that. But when things don't go your way, you can still push for a little bit more. Push for that victory. Push 3 points. It goes
I'll be right back.
a long way for us because right now the 1 point draw, we're at 63 points. Bologna is set to play. They're at 58 points. They can come within 2 points again. Roma set to play. They can become 58 and make it 5 points behind us. Atalanta has 2 games in hand on us. If they win both of those, 7 points behind. Ultimately, I think we're going to be safe. I don't see us getting into a situation where we're not going to qualify for Champions League, okay? So I think ultimately we're going to be okay. And like I said, today, it wasn't a big surprise. Max is going to manage his way out with the points safely, okay? Pragmatically, we're going to do it and finish that finish line. I just want to win the Coppa Italia, okay? These jerseys are nice, but let's get the little badge back, okay? I need the Coppa Italia badge. These jerseys they're beautiful, too plain. This jersey's too plain. Let's get the Coppa Italia back. Everybody, been fun. Reno, thank you so much, brother, coming on. Always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. You guys, check out Calcio with Reno Z, okay? YouTube. He's on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, all right? Twitter or X. Show some love to our Juventino.
Thank you.
He's always fighting with Inter fans on the daily.
Oh, you guys will love it.
It's enjoyable at least for that and them calling off. Okay, but you guys, I think today combination of our midfield gaps, and I think when you take off your best player, you have an unwillingness to go for it. Max didn't push all out for it. Max was, I think, fine with the draw. And it is what it is. I think safely we will qualify for Champions League. But tomorrow, we dissect it in full. We'll look at the post-match comments. We're going to look ahead, the schedule. We're going to take it all into account and see what comes in the aftermath, all right? Absolute pleasure today. Guys, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the content. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, all right? Fino alla fine. Forza Juve.
Forza Juve.
Ciao tutti. Take care.
Yeah.